Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another week in review. I'm not going to be as long because I am pretty tired. Well, let's just jump right into the swing of things. If you come on, you can watch the replay on Instagram feed or you can go on the YouTube channel. So we got number of COVID cases according to the Johns Hopkins University and Medicine website. There are 561,337,178 cases of COVID-19. We have 6,367,698 deaths with COVID. In terms of the U.S., with our confirmed cases is 89,453,076, and the U.S. death toll is 1,023,736. So again, with the number of cases of COVID-19 here, excuse me, fix my little stand thing. So we have 561,337,178 global confirmed cases. We have 6,367,698 global deaths. In terms of the U.S. confirmed cases, there are 89,453,076 cases, and the death toll is 1,023,736. In terms of vaccinations, over 233,000 Americans got vaccinated yesterday. They got their first dose, so it's 233,439. So it's a total of 68% of U.S. Americans. So again, the vaccination doses that were administered yesterday was 233,439. The total is 222.7 million. So there's 68% of this population is fully vaccinated, which is still at the 2/3 stand. So it's moving slowly from where we were 2 years ago. This is actually an improvement, but it can be a lot better. In terms, I don't know if I have the number of race in terms of deaths from COVID-19. So in terms of the population, more white people have died from COVID. I think I'm going to see if I can show this right here. So it's a pretty much of a large number of white people die from COVID. So they said 1.1 million right here with this graph. This graph looks weird. But there's another site too of white people dying from COVID. So according to this KKF total, it shows up the number of white deaths. So starting with Alabama, Alabama has 65% of white people, right? The number of deaths from COVID was 70%. Alaska has a 60% of white people. 60% of white people, right? The number of deaths, 52%. Arizona, which was one of the states that opened fast, is a 54% of population of white people, 56% died from COVID versus the black people. You know, of course, black people died in the beginning of COVID, but it shows like a higher rate of white people dying. In California, they have the white population 36%, 35% die from COVID. In Connecticut, there's a 66% population of white people. 74% die from COVID. And even though 10% of black people live in Connecticut, only 13% died. That's kind of a stretch. It's a good amount. It's a lot. Delaware has 61% of white people, 73% died. District of Columbia has 30% of white people, 13% died, which probably is the least. Florida has 53% of white people, but 58% died from COVID. And if we could get to my state, New York has 55% of white people in the population, 53% died, versus the populations. More Hispanics actually died from COVID in my state than ever. And next behind it was black people. There is no deaths of black people in Wyoming nor in Vermont because it's not a big black population. But total, more white people die from COVID. Oh, we got to do Texas too. Texas has 41% of white people, but 46% of white people die from COVID. So right then and there, white people are the ones dying from COVID, not too much black people. We caught it in the beginning, but we learned our very, very valuable lesson. And I posted a chart of my state, well, my city in particular, of the COVID numbers and in terms of vaccinations. And there are less white people vaccinated in my city than Hispanics, indigenous folks, and the Asian community. Black people in my city will surpass the white people being vaccinated very soon. Because that's the truth. Why am I saying all these numbers? For a reason. Because it seems like people are still playing with COVID. And we have a B5 warning. That's a new variant. That's when a lot of the country is not vaccinated. New variants pop in through. We're still in the midst of a global pandemic. It still has not gone away. You still have to wear your mask each and every single day. I wear my mask going to work and coming home from work. There's certain places that still have the mask mandate policy, especially when you go in the hospital or when you even going in your job. In my job, I have to wear a mask. That's the name of the game. And I believe some places in my city are going back to mask mandates. I won't be surprised. There will be an announcement from the mayor and the governor together where they're going to announce mask mandates. People going to get mad over again. But if you want B5, do that. Because I heard that shit is dangerous. And there's 65% of the new cases from what Queen is saying in my stuff. So this message is to the people that are still not vaccinated, which is mostly white people and a good amount of black people. B5 is no joke. Coronavirus is still with us. So if you don't want this, get vaccinated. And wear your mask. Because people are tired of saying get vaccinated and you guys don't want to get vaccinated. So if you guys don't want it, the vaccine, wear your mask. And if you don't want to do that, you're going to get sick. Plain and simple. It's like tired of saying this shit all the time. Like, it's just annoying. It's annoying. And hey, Britt, how you doing? Long time, long see. My cousin was in here just not too long ago. Well, my cousins were in here not too long ago. So hello to y'all. I said Queen Shout out to Queen, who always coming up with the numbers and everything. So away from this whole coronavirus stuff, even though we're still going to be in this mess because people still don't want to do the right thing, we got these midterms coming up. These midterms are no joke. The House just passed an abortion a law to, I guess, protect women's reproductive rights. Even though people say, well, the House don't do nothing. Well, the House is doing something. It's the Senate. Elect more senators. So we have that. There's a lot of issues. People talking about inflation, which is a big thing. But there are bigger things bigger than inflation. One is our voting rights. Most of us in this country come from like marginalized communities and communities of color. And our voting rights are under attack. In the southern states, they're just being attacked on all sides of the spectrum. So it's important that we show up to these ballots, even though they're going to make it difficult for us. You still stand your ass there on that goddamn line. Stand there on that line. Don't let anything deter you. Our ancestors didn't let anything deter them, and they got beaten. Some of their ballots got thrown in the garbage, and they still went back and still challenged the system. And that's what we have to do. We have to beat the system. We have to let the system know that these are our fundamental rights. So voting rights is under attack, along with women's reproductive health, along with Brown versus Board of Education. We have marriage equality that's still up. We have Plessy versus Ferguson. It's impossible because one senator was like, do Plessy versus Ferguson. So there's a senator that want us to be separate but equal. So all of these things, like with the Republican Party, and then, we still got the war in Ukraine, which Republicans are hardly supporting that. Not a good number because they don't care. Remember, they're supposed to be the party of the military. They didn't even pass, that's a bill that was in the House, like, to prevent domestic terrorism on our American soil. All Republicans voted against it, including your good ones, Elizabeth Lynn Cheney and Adam Daniel Kissinger. And I'm going to say this about Elizabeth Cheney and Adam Kissinger. They're not our friends. They literally vote against everything that many people in this country wants, supports, and needs. Well, Shante, they serve on the 1-6 committee. They are challenging their party. They're doing everything right for their party. Exactly. They're protecting their party because at the end of the day, they're Republicans. They're not our friends. That Republican and Democrat bipartisanship has died. It has died. And it has died because the Republican Party wants to be the party in control all the time, because most of my years, Republicans were always in control. And it never went well. But back to my topic. Elizabeth Lynn Cheney and Adam Daniel Kissinger are not our friends. They don't vote for bills that support people of color and others coming from marginalized communities. They voted over 90% with the last administration. They refused to support voting rights, even though to me it's not a partisan issue, it's an American issue. They refuse to support it. So why are we considering these people our friends? Because they're not. Just like the Never Trumpers, Elizabeth Lynn Cheney and Adam Daniel Kissinger are not our friends. And I'm here to tell you that. So I don't care if they serve on a committee because they were selected by Nancy Pelosi, even though I love Nancy dearly. Even though they were selected by her, doesn't mean they're doing this for the will of the country. They're trying to protect their own interests, and they want power within their party. So therefore, they're not our friends. And if anybody got a problem with this message, you can mute me. Block me. Because I said what the hell I said. Oh yeah, every time when a bill, it was a most recent bill they voted, it was like only voted by only one Republican supported, and I think it was to stop domestic terrorism. It was something, and Liz Cheney voted against it. So since we're into her record, let's pull it up for a quick second, right? Some people I don't know why she's called Liz when her real name is Elizabeth. So, and here the hell we are. Where is Congress.gov? The bill says she sponsored like Patient Advocate Tracker Act and then Frederick Douglass Trafficking Victims Protection, whatever. Then it's something to, for veterans and Hong Kong people of freedom. All kinds of shit. Hold on. Let's see what recent bills passed. God dang it. So, let's start off with the Formula Act. Vote, not voting. Ensuring access to abortion, not voting. Ensuring access, not voting, failed. Women's Reproductive Protection Act, not voting. Women's Health Protection Act, not voting. So let's repeat this again. This is her record, right? Hey, Lauren, this is her record. Because I was looking for this shit. So today, there was the Formula Act. And the vote, not voting. So this is Elizabeth Cheney. But the bill passed anyway. H.R. 8297, ensuring access to abortion, not voting. Ensuring Access to Abortion Act, not voting. Women's Health Protection Act, not voting. Because there's some more bills. Providing consideration of the following bills. H.R. 7900, National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2023. Protecting Our Gold Star Families Education Act. Women's Health Protection Act. Ensuring women's rights to reproductive care. Nay. Yes. Reaffirming the economic partnership between the United States and the Caribbean nations and recognizing the need to strengthen trade and investments with the United States and the Caribbean nations of third border. She voted yes for that one, which I'm shocked. Providing the consideration, the Senate amends the House amendment to bill consideration, providing consideration for the Senate and the amendment to House bill of H.R. 4346, she said no. LGBT Data Inclusion Act, no. Let me read that again. LGBTQI plus Data Inclusion Act, no. She voted no. And that was June 23rd. Active shooter alert. No. Providing consideration of H.R. 4176, LGBTQ plus, LGBTQI plus Data Inclusion Act, Advanced Research Projects Agency Act of Health Act, and restoring hopeful mental health and well-being. She voted no. Meat and Poultry Special Investigator Act, no. Federal Reserve Racial and Economic Equality Act. I'm going to read that again. Federal Reserve Racial and Economic Equality Act, no. She didn't vote for that. Recovering America's Wildlife Act, no. And those are her recent votes. So if we want to go to the most recent shit, we can do that. So the Formula Act, she did not vote for. Reassuring Access to Abortion Act, she did not vote for. Women's Health Production Act, she did not vote for. And the racial equality stuff, she did not vote for. So I don't understand why the fuck people keep telling me to give her some grace. I'm not giving her no grace because, first of all, she don't care about women's reproductive health. She don't care about economic justice for black people. And she don't care that babies will eat food. That babies need food too. And she doesn't want to protect our wildlife. And then she doesn't want to protect the safety of Americans being shot every day. She don't care. She don't care. So anybody got something to say to me? Say it. I said what I said about Elizabeth. Elizabeth is not our friend. She serves on a committee because she was scared. She was scared during 1/6. She does not care. At the end of the day, she does not care. She votes like a Trumper. Point blank in the period. I didn't mean to go this long about Elizabeth, but I had to because I'm tired of everybody saying, like, give her a chance. I agree with... That's fine. You could agree with what she's doing. I don't care. Because why? Because she went along with this stuff until an insurrection happened on the Capitol? Why give somebody grace when they did not speak up the first time this person was saying all of these things about the election leading up to the insurrection on January 6th, leading up to overthrowing our government on January 6th, 2021? Nothing to say, right? Nothing. I'm done with my spiel, but I want to say this about the midterms. With everything that's on the line, from voting rights, reproductive rights, marriage equality, education, school choice, Brown versus Board of Education is probably on the chopping block, along with the Loving Law and along with criminal justice and everything, black people being attacked in this country. We need to vote like our lives depend on it. We need to vote every election, from small to federal election. Elections should be every single year. You don't take your ass to the poll every 4 years or every 2 years. No, take your ass to the poll every year. Because you see, local elections matter. I live in a state, a blue state, where my reproductive rights are protected. But if I go somewhere else, I'm in trouble. That's why we have to vote. I'm not a white woman where I can vote with my privilege. No, I'm black and I'm a woman. And I have to vote like my life depends on it. So like any other people talking about, like, oh, you can vote third party, that's voting Republican. Because unfortunately in this country, there's a two-party system. It is very rare that a third-party candidate gets selected. So for all those naysayers out there that's saying my vote don't count and everything, you must want a Republican administration that will help you, because honestly, to tell you the truth, they ain't helping shit. And I'll leave it as that. Now, in speaking of voting, so I've been facing my anger with the high temperature, also known as high temps. A particular high temp that's been getting, well, two particular high temps that's been getting on my nerves. Let's start with Forpo, as Dr. C say, also known as Harpo Gregory Marcel Dixon. The teacher from Savannah, Georgia, who ran in the recent election for the primary for the South Carolina 6th Congressional District against Jim Clyburn, the incumbent. So instead of taking his L's like a normal person will take their L's, this man is still going on about we need reparations and we need tangibles and all of this bullshit, right? So, so here we go, because Forpo had a lot to say about me in a post. So this is what Forpo said. Iron Shantisi, you literally shake like a pistol stuffed down a Christmas stocking. Keep that cooning stuff away from me. This is what he posted of me. So this is what I said to Forpo. Harpo, aka whatever his name is. I said, oh, Marcel. I actually call him Marcel, but oh, Harpo, You look like a boy who hasn't reached puberty yet. Instead of coming for me and fighting with everyone on the internet, you should stop dressing like the man from Get Out. Use some moisturizer and stay off the internet and go back to your day job as a teacher. But he's fired, right? So, Harpo calls me a coon. Harpo, you are a queen. You know what that means. You stay fighting with people on the goddamn internet. For why? You lost. You not only came in a very distant place, you came in very last. You came in after a candidate who only had 39 followers on the internet. Versus, at the time, 16,000 followers you had. You came in third place, earning only 4% of the vote. That's like what? Over 2,000 votes? That's not a lot. If I were you, I would not be on the internet for like weeks and days. But you seem to not understand how much significance of your losses, how people invested in your campaign. Those same fucking followers that are dumb followed you and invested money in you with their paychecks that probably don't get like $20 an hour. There's people that invested in this dumbass. Even Pam from Martin invested in this dumbass. And honestly, your jokes stuffed like a pistol, like in a what? I don't get that. That's not a read. You can't even gather people correctly. What? Ugh. But I want to say this to Mr. Harpo himself, Marcel Dixon, Greg, whatever the fuck your name is. I am not shaped like a pistol stuffed in a Christmas stocking. I am a baddie. I have a shape. I'm not as skinny, but I am curvy and I'm thick in all the right places. I'm so sad that you're not into women like me, that you're not really into really women, if you really want to get technical. I don't even know why you're part of the foundational Black American crew, because if they know who you really are, they would not have been fucking with you that hard. But you still fronting out here on the internet because everybody know who you are. You were outed. How many times? Damn. Being a bum is just a hell of a drug. Or just say, being an attention-seeking, frontin'-ass motherfucker who has no job now because you got fired for being a teacher. That's the word on the street. That's the T. Like, you're really a bum out here. But you know what, Harpo? May you go with God. Because it's going to be a tough road for you, buddy. To recuperate that image that you portrayed. Nobody ain't going to be fucking with you that hard. And speaking of more FBA nonsense. So I've been posting about Tariq Nasheed because he's just out here running his mouth with stupidity. And his fan base, they're just so dumb. Just so dumb. So, I posted old stuff about Mr. Nasheed, because he deserved all of that smoke. So, I have a story to tell, story time. Let me remind you about Tariq Nasheed's misogynistic ass. So back in October of 2020, when the election's going on, everybody was coming after Killer Mike because he was shaking hands with the ops. Georgia's the governor, Mike Kemp, Brian Kemp, who was just an asshole and basically putting people's lives at danger for COVID, right? So, Tariq Nasheed says some dumb shit like this. So the Democrats are upset with our brother Killer Mike for meeting with the Republican governor of Georgia to discuss policies. The Dems are calling it a photo op because it was a fucking photo op. So I said this. I'm not upset, more so disappointed. Georgia has over Georgia has over 260,000 cases of coronavirus. Instead of taking a look just combating COVID-19, Killer Mike is meeting with him about policy. Not a good look. So watch how you said we're mad. Nobody ain't mad. And then it wasn't no diss anything. I just said watch how you saying people are mad. And he said, are you Caribbean? I say, no, I'm African American. Why is that a question? Why is that a question? And then he says some dumb shit like this. And because I guess he said that I am not a foundational Black American. You're trying to play little word games, but I know a non-FBA when I see one. And then he goes on and say some dumb shit like this. He said, you're posting some out of context ancestry chart. Really doesn't mean anything. You're probably somebody anchor baby, but your vibe is way too goofy to be a FBA. First of all, I would never want to be a FBA. What the fuck is that shit? And then he got mad and say, you're clearly an anchor baby teether who uses multiple troll accounts to shill for Democrats. First of all, I use my name. How is multiple accounts? And FBA would not shield that hard for people who go on their way to ignore their needs, but a non-FBA would. Don't know what the fuck that shit is again. And what other type of Black person would, you spell Black wrong, will shield for them? All because I said them about the LGBTQ plus, which that's crazy because Marcel's gay. And then I have audio of him saying shit like this.
Who are more oppressed. A lot of people might say, oh my God, how so? Now, if any white women are listening, white women know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. White women who are more oppressed. A lot of people might say, oh my God, how so? Now, if any white women are listening, white women know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. White women were really oppressed in this country. Major. That's why they created the feminist movement. Brothers are going down there to Brazil, South America, because number one, the women are extraordinary fly. Fat asses, flat stomachs, nice breasts, real hair. And on top of that, they show brothers respect. So the basic union, basically, guys, if you get with a mixed female, it would be best to get with a female who is mixed with a Black father and a white mother. That's the ideal one to get with, if you're going to get with one. Basically, guys, if you get with a mixed female, it would be best to get with one. You know, diseases and shit down there in Brazil. But you fuck with these hood rats, you get the same diseases. Shit. Ain't too much of a damn difference.
So this is to Tariq Nasheed. You know, it's been almost 2 years since I addressed you, but I think you need this, right? You're not pro-Black and you're not for Black women. I repeat, Tariq Nasheed is not pro-black and he's not for black people. He's not for us, by us. He's not the clothing line like I once wore. He's not FUBU. And why he's not FUBU? Because you don't like us. Let's just say this. You don't like black people. You don't. As if you like black people, you will accept us for all shapes and sizes. With all our coils, our kinks, our braids, our weaves, our Caesars, our crowns. You don't care about black women. And I'm disgusted because you got a lot of black women that follow you that actually listen to your dumbasses. But then again, I'm not surprised because Tariq is ignorant. King Flex is a whack ass former pimp who couldn't even really get no ass. Even when you was on charm school, you couldn't even give basic simple lessons on how to find the Renaissance man. So therefore, Tariq, you a whole ass fraud. You're a grifter. You're not smart. You're a jackass. And you're just an all around fool. You're not a serious person. So you need to take your dumb ass back to school, learn some civics, and shut the fuck up entirely. And learn how to respect black women, because you came from one the last time I checked. I mean the audacity. And you know what's so funny? I know a lot of biracial people, and listening to that is disrespecting biracial people, mixed multicultural people in this country. Because multicultural people in this country respect other people from different cultural backgrounds. Listen to that shit was fucking offensive as fuck. It was misogynistic. It was dirty. It sounded like a fucking creep. Like, my God. But I was going to end this night because I've been going on for a rant for a while. But thank you to everybody that's been listening. You know, let's stay vigilant, folks. Let's vote. You know, these elections is coming up. I'm nervous as hell, but I'm also hopeful. And I know that we're going to win because something else is going to pop off that's really going to drag people asses to the polls. So, folks, stay vigilant, stay well, be blessed. Goodbye.